How are you doing today?
Great, Gadi. Thanks very much for having me. I think I represent the mere mortal in the crowd. While I've written device drivers in my life, dating myself in a compiler, I found myself not as good as that as just about everybody in this audience. And so most of my career has been in strategy, policy, strategic leadership. And so I'd just like to share with you an example of how I use ChatGPT or similar devices to essentially make use of what that capability brings to bear in the policy world. I found myself stuck recently at a place where I was about to enter in and represent the United States in a three-nation conference on cyber escalation with a sidebar and a nuclear escalation, if that wasn't fun enough, and having to actually kind of articulate what perhaps the thesis of that should be, articulate then who was responsible for what and how do we actually make it such that we can occupy the same space, digital infrastructure, and have policy strategy and relationships necessary to make it such that we can all get along, we can all actually kind of thrive and prosper. So I'm going to show a couple of slides with Gadi's permission. This is not a live demonstration about what I did to make good use. It was actually, at the end of the day, profoundly valuable use of generative AI to actually handle that. So let me share this, just a couple of slides. And first and foremost, the title of this is Geopolitical Analysis with ChatGPT. You can see that all right. The money slide is this one, which is the policy gauntlet. If you're engaged in one of these things, you have to have an idea, a big idea, which is, what do you kind of propose that we do about something? You have to make discrete choices inside of that. That's where agency and accountability of human beings comes in. But you have to build it out with supporting material and defend it in the face of what I kind of put in quotes here, omniscient knowledge. It's not correct knowledge. It's just everybody's going to attack you with their various biases, information that you have to painstakingly understand up front in order to survive the day. It came to me that the blue parts, that's the human being in this, and the red parts is what Gen AI does really well. And so that's what I did in this case. I actually gave Gen AI, I used two different instantiations. Surprisingly, I got largely the same answer. One of them was DeepSeek. But I said, hey, look, I want to make a proposal to the Russians and the Chinese in this audience of how crisis management in the US works. What's a comprehensive framework that we might offer that explains how we deal with this so that they understand who's going to be doing what and how perhaps we do this broadly across three different nations. And so what I asserted to the ChatGPT model was this. I need an introduction. I need to talk about where accidents, incidents, and what the various reactive parts are. But I need something that actually enhances crisis stability and kind of deals with these other issues. What I then asked was this question. What I got back was a 5-page paper. What was surprising to me was it didn't just give me something that could withstand the withering fire of omniscient knowledge, kind of what the others were going to say, but it suggested many things that I'd left out of my model. So I kind of took advantage of those, and 3 iterations later came out with a 6-page paper. This is the first 2 paragraphs of that. I offered that to the three-nation coalition. It was, as of course, attacked from all sides, but when it was all said and done, the vast majority of them say it was comprehensive, it was thoughtful, it asserted things that are worth asserting, and it withstood the withering fire. What would have taken me a couple of months to generate something like that actually took me the better part of an afternoon. That's the pitch, that's the presentation. It's really simple, but I think for most folks who are mere mortals thinking this is a tech play, it's not, right? If you combine the human being and the machine in the right way, it's actually a quite useful human machine play. Any questions?
I actually have two that come to the top of my head. The first one is you said it spit out 5 pages. I found when I do stuff similar to this, it's actually like copying other people's work and kind of adding a comma in places. Did you find that to be true?
Didn't find that to be true. I tried to be precise enough in telling it what I wanted that I would drive it. I would make the policy choices. What I needed was something that would amplify those or justify those. It gave me a couple of things that were contrary to my position, which I then could counter as I added material to the paper.
That's awesome. And then the second one is the same one I think half the people are thinking, which is you're writing about crisis management in the United States. Are you worried about it leaking data, to other people as you enter it?
I actually wanted to do that. That's why I use DeepSeek. I had every
Oh,
expectation that they would use that. So, in my world, I worked at NSA for quite a long time. When I wanted somebody to know something, sometime I just wrote an email to my mother. And then a week later, it turns out other people would know something about that. But that deserves a whole different story. Anyway,
I
other
love it.
questions?
Mm.
Back to you, Gotti. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Chris. Really appreciate your time today.